It's okay to be different. And that's what the kids are learning about today. And Miss Sandy asked me to join her in representing that it's okay to be different. And I had so much fun getting dressed this morning. I just kept looking at myself and I'm like, this is Kathy. This is my little girl. She would pick this out, right? Oh my goodness. So I want to just let you know that Miss Sandy Schill and what she does in that youth program are nothing short of a miracle of how she can take 4-year-olds to 16, 17-year-olds and come up with some kind of lesson. And I don't know if you realize this, but what she's doing with the teens, because they're kind of bored, right? Is she gets them to be the helpers and to work with the younger children. And so how she has figured this out is nothing short of a miracle. So I can't wait to see what she looks like and what she's going to be, how she's going to present this. It's okay to be different. So I want to start with a story. And for Facebook, if you're new, this is the minister. I don't always dress like this, but you never know. So I want to start with the story, and it is about when I was in second grade. And in second grade, there was a boy in our class, and I went to St. Margaret Mary School in North College Hill. And we had 4 first grade classes, 26 kids in each class. So it was a large class, large grade class. Anyway, there was a boy in our second grade class. His name was Tommy, and Tommy had a skin disorder. And to the life of me, no one ever explained what it was, but it was obvious. Tommy looked like a severe, complete body burn victim. Every inch of his body was blister red, peely skin, sometimes oozing from various places. And I have no idea why. Really, I don't. But how Tommy survived being eight years in our class, but my memory goes back to second grade. But 8 years of kids being mean. And nobody, in those days, it was periodically the teacher would make us all change move desk, right? Move your chair, you got to sit somewhere different. No one wanted to sit where Tommy sat because he had a smell. Peely skin. I mean, nobody wanted to sit. And for some reason, I felt so sorry, but I think it was more empathy towards him. I felt how painful that must be for kids and they were outwardly said it loudly. Yeah, I don't want to sit in Tommy's desk. And so I would always offer to sit in his desk. And I just remember that was a really obvious memory of judgment, of judging by appearance, judging by smell. Nobody wanted to touch Tommy. It was a hard road for him all the way through. But I'm sure as we went on through the grades, some kids did start to accept him, but it still was a very, very cruel situation for him. So I learned about judging by appearances at a young age. So if we in Unity truly understand and believe, Unity has how many principles? Do you know? Right. We need to, Sandy, we need to teach this class again because they weren't all sure about this. 5 Unity basic principles, okay? If we truly believe in principle 1 and 2 of the Unity principles, Tommy showed me what principle number 2 was about. Let me refresh what principle 1 and 2 are. Principle 1 is God is. God is all there is. Now, you can use any word you want for God because it doesn't matter, does it? So you can, I always love it. You can spell God with 1 O or 2. You can put good. You can put life. You can put creation. But life, good, is all there is and present everywhere. That's principle number 2. 1. Principle number 2 is human beings are divine at their core. At their core. And therefore inherently good. We are all expressions of this divine presence and inherently good. So if we truly do believe these 2 principles, be honest. I still judge. I catch myself quicker most of the time. Let me show you something we're about to show. This, yeah. I do a lot of time, spend a lot of time researching for my talks on Sunday. And I came across this as I was researching, and it was a video. But that's what shows up first. Now, what was my first inkling when I looked at that? What do you think? What's yours? What's your first inkling when you look at that man? Yes, Stephanie, right, goes right to the forehead, doesn't it? Be honest. Some of you be honest. You cannot help because, why? It looks different.
I thought it was a woman.
I do not believe it is.
I know, but I thought it was.
Right. See, we start labeling so quick, don't we? Just by a picture. But I hit play. And so I want you to just listen to this story. If we can turn some lights off, that'd be great.
Teaching math to a class of 6-year-olds asked a boy called Arnav in class, Arnav, if I give you 2 mangoes and 2 mangoes, how many will you have? Arnav said 5. The teacher said, Arnav, if I give you 1, 2, 2 mangoes and 1, 2 mangoes, how many will you have? 5, replied Arnav. The teacher was upset. But remember that Arnav's mom had said that Arnav doesn't like mangoes. He likes strawberries. So she changed her example. If I give you 2 strawberries and 2 strawberries, how many will you have? 4, replied Arnav. Oh, the teacher was pleased by the change of strategy. Just to confirm that Arnav had understood his math right, she asked Arnav again, Arnav, if I give you 2 mangoes and 2 mangoes, how many will you have? Arnav replied, 5. The teacher was now annoyed. How can 2 and 2 strawberries be 4 and 2 and 2 mangoes be 5? Arnav replied, I already have 1 mango in my bag, madam. Who was right? Was the teacher wrong? No, because 2 plus 2 is 4. Was Arnav wrong? No, because 2 plus 2 is 4 and 1 mango in my bag makes it 5. Isn't it a fact that all kinds of conflicts come because of the gap between technical rightness and practical rightness? The teacher was technically right. Technical rightness means to see the obvious. Technical rightness means to see what is visible. And Arnav was practically right. Practical rightness means to see beyond the obvious. Practical rightness means to see beyond what is visibly seen. Practical rightness means to see the hidden mango. Ladies and gentlemen, very often all our conflicts come because the gap between the technical and practical rightness. Whenever you find that your spouse is not loving you enough, yes, you may be technically right. He or she may not actually love you that much. But are you practically right? Practical rightness means to see the hidden mango. Why is he or she not loving you? Your child may not be listening to you. And technically you're right. The child is not listening to you. But are you practically right? Practical rightness means to try to see the hidden mango beyond the obvious. Why is your child not behaving right? The next time you see someone not fit into your definition of what is technically right, please do not be judgmental. Go beyond the obvious, go beyond the seen, and try to look for the hidden mango, which will truly help you understand the person and resolve the conflicting situation that you are in. Thank you.
Technical rightness and practical rightness. Has you ever heard of that? I had not. Let's show that next slide there, Kathy. I mean, this is such a lesson. I mean, that's what unity talks about. We look beyond the literal word, right? In the Bible, we look beyond that and find the deeper meaning. And that's exactly what this guy is saying here. So look, I love that. Look for the mango. There's a hidden meaning. You never know what that person is going through. Angie thinks she broke her toe during the night. She knows she broke it. Oh, boy. Oh, I didn't see it, but apparently she knows she broke it, right? Woo. All right. And we were talking this morning as we met, and she's telling me, and I'm like, why you got a shoe on, right? She goes, because I was raised, if you're going to be in front of a church, you got to look, it's respect, right? It's a sign of respect. You don't come to church up here and look like this. My mom would be having a hissy fit right now. But it's true, isn't it? Now, you didn't notice, but she came up here with her socks on. Right? Because we talked and we're like, you know, what's my favorite 2 words in the English language? Oh, somebody knows. She's my daughter. So what? You don't like my socks? So what? I like them. You don't like, I really was going to put my hair up in these twisty things, like looking like pebbles, right? But I thought, okay, that's a little too much, right? But if you didn't like it, so what? So what? You never know what people are going through. Don't judge what you see. And man, that lesson with those parents and with spouses, relationships, co-workers, I mean, family members. Right. Most of you know I just got back from a month of traveling and visiting family in Florida. But don't judge what you see. There's a hidden mango always, always in that situation. Okay, you ready for the big stuff? Because the big stuff's coming. Okay, let's go to the next one. Yep, this comes out of the Bible. And why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye, but do not consider the plank in your own eye? Oh, how can you say to your brother, let me remove that speck from your eye, and look, a plank is in your own eye. Hypocrite, first remove the plank from your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Yeah, Many of us have heard this verse. Maybe you haven't. Doesn't matter. It's the same thing as many of you have heard of the mirror theory, right? Projection theory. It's the same thing here. What you see out there is a reflection of yourself. And that's why I said, are you ready for the big stuff? Yes. Are you sure? Because this is big stuff. This is really asking each one of us to own what is the plank in my own eye. Because how can I dare fix this world when I got a plank in my eye? When I'm not willing to go and do the inner work, the inner healing that it takes. And we wonder why our world is so divided right now. We got to own it. We as a race consciousness need to own it. Oh, well, that's not me. I'm unity. I honor all paths to God. Really? What about the fundamentalist white Christian religions? Plank! There's a plank! I'm calling it I'm calling it out, people. I mean, we act so righteous sometimes. But yet, and the way she reacted is the way many of us do, only we go, we don't go, right? Oh, we're more refined than that. We just hold it in. And then we wonder why we get sick, right? We hold it in because I honor all paths to God, except that one. We got to call it out, people. We got to realize there's a plank in our eye. And it happens so quickly, doesn't it? It happens so quickly. Let's look at that next one. Look in the mirror first. That truly is what that Bible verse is about. Now, in our astute knowledge that we have now with self-help groups and self-help books, right? We all call it mirror theory or projection theory, but it goes way back 2,000 plus years of calling it a plank. You cannot help someone. And there are an awful lot of people I know that are in the helping profession that haven't looked at themselves. So if you want to really be a game changer, and I know you do, or you wouldn't be in a unity church. You wouldn't be stretching your belief systems this much if you weren't willing to do some introspection. You wouldn't be comfortable here, and that's okay. But if you are and can sit comfortable in the uncomfortableness, because sometimes these messages or music can make you uncomfortable. Because why? Because it's opening, it's cracking open your heart. And that is scary, isn't it? For many of us, it was for me in the beginning. I was like, how come I'm crying in every service, right? Because I was. Because it was cracking my heart open, and my little girl in me wanted it cracked open. But the big one in me didn't want it. I don't know how to do the big person. I'm not sure how to deal with her. There's a movie, and I don't know if we were able to put it on the Facebook label. I don't know if you saw it, Sandy. Is it? Okay, good. We've got it in the description on Facebook, so if you don't remember this, it's called Jesus Revolution. Anybody know the actor Kelsey Grammer? Yeah. Right? He is in this movie as a minister. a pretty much fundamental minister. And he meets up with a bunch of hippies. This is taken in the late 60s, early 70s. And it's called the Jesus Revolution. And man, if I could have shown this clip to you today, I would have, because it speaks volumes to hear this place and why I love this place. But Kelsey is not comfortable with those hippies. He's watching the movement on TV, right? And him and his wife are sitting there, and they're talking about the news media. And this is actual real. So this is based on a true story out in California, which makes it even better. And he is watching the news, and they're talking about all these hippies in California. And he's sitting there. What they need is a bath and a haircut. Right? Because in his church, everybody's dressed refined, and they're sleeping. And the hippies have got it going, right? And that minister and the hippie, who is really like the lead minister of the group, are having a conflicting episode, and the hippie minister calls him out and says, you know, you're not following Jesus. You know, Jesus embraced everybody. You're missing our whole generation. You know, anybody relate to that? Come on, you people who were the Woodstock generation, right? Right? And remember how divided our country was then? Yeah. You remember? Yeah. So we're not experiencing anything new. Why are we what is it? We keep experiencing it until we heal it. So it's our job to stop, and I got to stop because I'm going to get this. That's another whole talk. Jesus Revolution. I really encourage you. It's on, I think it's rentable on Amazon Prime right now for like $3.99, and then it's on another, not Paramount, but something, what begins, Peacock, is that another one? I looked it up so I could tell you how to stream it. But it is so worth watching, because I know you will, because towards the end I'm like, that's our church. Yes, I love it, love it. Let's go to another great master, teacher, and way shower. Dr. Seuss. Yep. You want to know the answers to life? Get some of those books, right? Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter. And those who matter don't mind. Those who matter don't care whether Angie's singing in shoes or socks. Those that matter don't care if their minister shows up in striped knee-high socks. Those are the ones that matter to me. The other ones, so what? Right? It starts here. Let's go to that next one. You've got to love yourself. But you can't love yourself totally, fully, and honestly until you pull the plank out of your own eye. Tommy had to love himself in order to survive 8 years in grade school with an awful lot of people judging him. He had to mind. He had to mind, what is it? Those who don't matter. Those who matter don't mind. And so he had to embrace the very few of us that embraced Tommy just the way he was. And some days it was hard because it was smelly and there was residue on his desk. It wasn't easy. But he mattered to a select few of us, And he held on to that because he loved himself. I never met his parents, but boy, they did a really good job with him to keep him to be able to show up for school every single day like that. Send a prayer. Wherever they are, God is and all is well. I even wrote that down. Because God is, I am. If God is good, then I am good. Let's look at that affirmation. And what is it Shakespeare said? My friend Brian's here today, and he gave me a button years ago, and I forgot to put it on. What did Shakespeare say? To thine own self, be true. Say that. To thine own self, be true. Are you ready to accept you just as you are? Yes. Let's say the affirmation together. My uniqueness is my greatest strength. Therefore, I release the need to compare myself to others. Take a picture of that. Share that on Facebook. People need to hear this. Let's say it again. My uniqueness is my strength, greatest strength. Therefore, I release the need to compare myself to others. Namaste. That unique Christ in me truly sees and honors that unique Christ presence in each and every single one of you. Namaste.
Namaste.